Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about a skill that's basically a modern-day superpower, analytical thinking. We're going to build a solid framework for cracking complex problems so you can walk into any challenge feeling clear and confident.
You know that feeling, right? We've all been there. You're staring at some challenge, maybe at work, maybe in your personal life, and it just feels like a giant tangled knot of string. You have no idea where to even start. And you can feel that sense of overwhelm just creeping in. Well, that's what we're going to fix today. Think of this explainer as a workshop where we're going to build you a powerful mental toolkit. Seriously, by the time we're done, you'll have a system to cut right through all that noise and find a clear path to a solution. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. What exactly is analytical thinking? Well, when you boil it all down, it's really the art of finding clarity in the middle of chaos. It's really just a structured way of taking a big, scary problem and chopping it up into smaller, more manageable pieces. Then you look at how those little pieces fit together, and you use that insight to come to a really solid logical conclusion. It's all about turning chaos into order, step by step. So what does this skill actually look like in practice? It pretty much comes down to 4 key habits. First, being objective. You got to focus on the issue, not the people involved. Second, collecting all the info, not just the stuff that proves you're right. Third, getting good at spotting patterns in that information. And finally, using critical thinking to tie it all together, which just means you're constantly questioning your own assumptions. So now that we've got the what down, let's get into the how. How do we actually apply this stuff? Simple. We use a practical, step-by-step process that works like a roadmap. And this 5-step process is that roadmap. It kicks off with identification. Because let's be real, you can't solve a problem if you don't know exactly what it is. Then comes analysis, where you do that chopping up we talked about. From there, you brainstorm solutions, pick the best one, and finally, you actually put it into action. It's a super reliable cycle you can use for pretty much anything. But here's the thing, and this is super important. Just having a process isn't quite enough. To become a real master at this, you have to build an analytical mindset. It's not just something you do, it becomes a part of how you think. Building that mindset really rests on 4 main pillars. First, you've got to stay curious. Always be asking why. Second, never stop learning. It gives you a bigger perspective. Third, actively look for problems to solve. Yeah, even puzzles or games help build this muscle. And finally, just keep practicing that critical thinking on all the information you come across every day. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of the whole mindset. Every problem you run into isn't a roadblock. It's actually a chance to learn something and make your analytical skills even stronger. Making that mental shift is a total game changer. Okay, so we've covered the what and the why. Now we get to the really exciting part, the how. Let's go ahead and open up our analytical toolkit and look at 6 incredibly powerful, practical tools you can start using right away. First up, we've got the 80-20 principle, sometimes called the Pareto principle. This thing is a beast when it comes to prioritizing. The basic idea is that in almost any situation, 80% of your results will come from just 20% of your actions. Your job is to find that critical 20% and pour your energy into it, instead of getting lost in all the trivial stuff. All right, so let's say you've used that 80-20 rule to narrow down your focus, but you're still staring at a few tough choices. How do you pick the right one without just going with your gut feeling? Well, that's exactly where the decision matrix comes in handy. And here's how simple it is. You list your options, like Project A and Project B here, and you score them against the criteria that actually matter to you, like cost, impact, and time. When you add up the scores, you're stripping away the emotion and letting logic do the driving. And in this example, you can see Project B clearly comes out ahead. But what happens when your problem is so complex, you're not even sure what's causing it? The fishbone diagram is absolutely perfect for that. It helps you brainstorm and organize every single possible cause so you can be sure you're treating the disease itself and not just the symptoms. So, once you've got a decent handle on your problem, it's time to think strategically. And for that, we've got a classic tool, the SWOT analysis. It's fantastic for getting a bird's-eye view of any situation. SWOT just stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The key thing to remember here is that strengths and weaknesses are internal. They're things you have some control over. Opportunities and threats are external. Laying it all out like this gives you a complete 360-degree picture so you can plan your next move with confidence.
Now, for any of these tools to really work, you need to generate good ideas. And our fifth tool, mind mapping, is a personal favorite for brainstorming. Instead of a boring, straight-line list, you start with your main idea in the center and let your thoughts just branch out naturally. This visual way of thinking can unlock a ton of creativity and help you see connections you would have totally missed otherwise.
And finally, we have what might be the simplest and often the most effective tool in the entire kit, the 5 Whys technique. This is your secret weapon for digging past all the surface-level stuff to find out what's really going on.
Here's how it works. The problem: a student is always late. Okay, why? Because he wakes up late, right? Why does he wake up late? Because he goes to sleep late. You just keep digging. Why? Because he's playing video games. By the time you get to that fifth why, a lack of parental monitoring, you've moved way past the symptoms and found the fundamental issue that actually needs a solution.
So, there you have it. A process to follow, a mindset to build, and a full toolkit ready to go. We've talked through all the concepts. Now it's time to put these powerful ideas to work.
Think about it. We started with this big, intimidating idea of analytical thinking, but now you have a process to guide you, a mindset to build on, and 6 awesome tools for your kick. You are now equipped to walk into any problem, not with anxiety, but with a structured plan of attack.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question. What's the very first problem you're going to solve with your new toolkit? Think about a challenge you're facing right now. Your journey to becoming a master problem solver, well, it begins with that very first step. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.